Podcast is now starting. All attendees are in
Good
listen-only
evening,
mode.
everyone. This is Sandy Anastasi, and I want to welcome you to my August Psychic Hour. I'm thrilled to see everyone on here this evening. Um, it's just amazing to me that so many people are still on the call at the end of summer when you guys are getting ready to send your kids off to school. Some of them have already started school. And I know life is crazy right now. So I want to say thank you for attending. Thank you for being here. It joys my heart to see so many of you online with me this evening. As we do our readings, let me go over my little rules here for my psychic hour. As we do the sessions, when I call on you, and I'll be calling on you myself this evening because my assistant in crime, Lisa, is not here this evening. She's had a minor difficulty at home and is not available for me to put to work this evening. So I'm going to ask you to bear with me because I'll be going a little slower than I usually do because I'm going to have to call on you all myself, which means I'm going to have to read up and down the names and make sure I catch everybody who's raised their hand. So that said, here's what you do when I call on you. First off, if you want to get a reading from me this evening, do raise your hand when you come online. And I'll be making a list so that I try to catch the people in the order that they come on and raise their hand. You can't see you guys, but I can. So we'll be good on that. And I would like to know first your name. First name is good enough. Where you're calling from, because we do get people from all over the world, and it is so much fun to find out where everybody's from. So let me know where you're from. So your name, where you're from, and what you are most grateful for in your life right now, today, this evening. Once we've done that, please tell me your astrological sign, because when I look at this horary chart that's here on the screen, I can give you and just about everybody else who is the same sun sign or even in the same quadruplicity, we call it, information which is going to be very accurate in what's going on or for what's going on in your life today. And then I'd like your specific question. So those pieces of information, your name, where you're calling from, what you're grateful for, your sun sign, and then finally what your actual question is. And please do listen to everyone's question, because when I channel my guides in these sessions, they have a way of answering questions that people online are thinking about and haven't voiced. So I could be answering one person and answering your question that you have silently asked at the same time. Also, I want to make a note that anyone who sends me their one sentence, a real short question before 9 p.m. tomorrow evening, I will be glad to, over the next week or so, give you a little time to do it, to send you an email back and answer that question. Now you can send that directly to the email right here on GoToMeeting, or you can send it to my assistant. That's Lisa, S-A Inc. at AOL.com. Either way, I'm going to get that question and I will answer it for you. So if you don't get your question answered here tonight, I will be answering them all week long for you, provided you're physically here online with me tonight. So that offer is only good for the people who are here. And I'm really grateful because there are a whole lot of you here tonight. And so you're going to keep me busy all week long, I can tell. And I see you're still coming in. I'm going to have to write down a couple of more names that I just see here. And once again, I want to thank you so much for being here and having your questions ready for me. Folks, I have a couple of announcements that I want to make as we get started with this evening's session, and I'll be quick about it. You'll see I have a little comment up here with my retreat. My retreat is open to anyone who is a client with me, where you've gotten a full reading with me, and also to all of my students, and that's past, present. You know, if you've been a student of mine, you're welcome to come to the retreat. If you didn't get an invitation, because we've been sending them out, but sometimes we overlook someone. If you didn't get an invitation, please contact Lisa and say, hey, I want to go to the retreat. And folks, that retreat is on Sanibel Island on September 20th through 22nd, so it's coming up pretty soon. I also want to mention the cruise, and this is open to everybody who, like me, loves to be on the open water. So I'm really hoping that a bunch of people are going to come this year. I know I'm starting to get a list already. The cruise is available on my website. It's already there. So it's on Royal Caribbean, and the cruise will go for I think it's 5 nights and 6 days. It leaves April 18th out of Fort Lauderdale, and you can register for it right now. You don't have to wait. Or you can wait for any of the specials that Royal Caribbean is running between now and the end of the year. But don't miss out. Make sure you do get registered if you want to come. And bear in mind, you do have to register on my site, because my travel person, who is Pat, needs to have your name to make sure that you are in our group. So you'll still get the Royal Caribbean specials, but you've got to do the registration through us so that you get our discounts, okay? And that you get included with all of the great, wonderful things I'm going to be doing with you on the cruise. It's going to be so much fun. Now, the other thing I have up here is you see the VIP. I always like to talk a little tiny bit about my VIP program. It's a membership program on my website. Every single class that I have done on MP3 for the last almost 40 years is in my membership site. I also meet with my members monthly, and we have a Q&A. Sometimes I do presentations, and it's just for them. Sometimes I give discounts. For example, people who are a member of the VIP program get to go to my retreat this year at half price. So, or at least half price for the seminars, the sessions I'm doing. The hotel, I've still got a great discount on, but that's not half price. So check out my VIP membership area. I think that's the most worthwhile thing on my entire website. Now, just a moment here, because my psychic development class is going to be beginning again in January of 2020. So if you think you're going to be interested, you're going to want to connect with my assistant, Lisa, and let her have your name. We're just beginning a pre-list, and usually for early enrollments, early registrations, I do give a lot of discounts and extra bonuses. So please get on her list. I'm starting to create that list right now. And the last thing I want to mention, those of you who are already part of my psychic development program, if you are in the teacher training program, that teacher training is going to be online this year, fully online, and it's the weekend of October 18th through 20th. So there's a whole lot of wonderful things that are going on as we go through the fall and into next January. One more comment. My August special is still running. You can still register for it. It's a reading special. And if you register for that reading special, I'm going to give you an overview, a psychic prediction overview of your next 3 months. The special for September isn't even online yet, but that special is going to be to examine your empathic capability, to find out how you're currently using that ability, and to work with me and my guides to make the best use of it, and also to be able to control it so that you're no longer victimized by your own empathy, your own tendency to pick up other people's emotions. Okay, those are my announcements. I'm done taking time up, and I'm ready to jump into doing some readings. Let me just take another quick look here and see if there are any more hands that have gone up. I've got a lot of hands, so I'm going to try to move through relatively quickly today. And I've got like I said, I've got a bunch of people who are going to be getting readings, and I want you folks who don't have your hand up, pay attention, because you will be getting information in what my guides channel through. I have this odd sort of background noise going on my computer. It's very light. It might be coming through to you as an echo. If it is, I want to apologize for it. We are getting some weather here in Florida, which is where I'm located, so there's not a lot I can do about that, but try and listen right through it, okay? Okay. My first person I'm going to be calling on this evening is Jody. And let me see if I can zip back to you. Okay. I'm getting more people coming in with their hands up as I look here. But, okay, there's another one. Man, there are a lot of people here who have questions. So I'm going to have to move fast. Okay, Jody, I've got to find you so that I can unmute you. Hang on, wait for me. This is Lisa's job, but as I said, she's not here this evening, so tonight it becomes my job. Okay, Jody, I'm going to unmute you, but your hand turned into a question mark, so hopefully you still have a question. You're unmuted. Hello? Can you hear me? I seem to hear something, but it's not a voice. Okay, Jody, I'm going to mute you back up and go to my next person on my list. If you still have a question, raise your hand and I will know to come back to you, okay? Okay, the next person here on my list is Michelle. And let's take a look at you. Michelle F., you are unmuted. Michelle, I keep seeing you self-muted. Can you unmute yourself? There you go.
Yay. Hi, I'm Michelle from South Carolina. I'm a Libra, and I'm most grateful today for my neighbors.
This is personal, but can I ask why you're most grateful for your neighbors? This sounds like a good story.
We had a really bad storm, and they helped me take a tree that had fallen away.
Oh my. And I've had that happen to me, and I know that's a really good neighbor.
Yes, very good.
That's wonderful, Michelle. Hey, I'm grateful with you. And Michelle, what's your sun sign?
Libra.
Okay, and I'm seeing right up here, now if you've watched my cursor, Libra is on the cusp of the 8th house, but since it's 25 degrees and there are only 30 degrees of a sign, or in a sign, that means most of the sign is in this 7th house. So if you are a Libra, folks, like Michelle, or if you're the opposing sign Aries, or one of the two signs that square that, these are all the cardinal signs from the cardinal quadruplicity, that would be Capricorn and Cancer. So if you're one of those 4 signs, you're going to be concerning yourself today with relationships of all kinds. And Michelle, I'm gonna mute you up a bit because we're getting some background noise from our 2 mics being open. You're going to be concerned with relationships of all kinds, all of your one-on-one relationships. That's with your significant other, but also with your kids, with your neighbors, with your parents. Relationships are high on the list today, right now, and at this time in your life. And also, you're very concerned with finances and money. And these financial concerns and money that are on your mind are because your finances are a little scary right now. They're radically up and down. In some ways, they're very good. In other ways, they're very bad. So you're really having to keep your eye on that ping pong ball. That's the way it feels sometimes. And in your relationships, you and all those people who are close to you, I love that Michelle said she had a friend help her to remove the tree, because you're going to be looking at the work that needs to be done in your home, in your family, in your household, and you're really going to be pitching in together and taking care of all of these things. And that's whether you are a Libra, whether you're a Capricorn, whether you're a Cancer, or whether you are an Aries. And right now, whatever you do, whatever you're accomplishing, it is very dependent upon your ability to get along with other people and having the right people to connect with. So, Michelle, that said, I'm trying to unmute you again because you're self-muted again. Okay. What is your specific question?
It's not too specific, but relationship-wise, what what do you feel about me for relationships?
Okay. Well,
Mostly love.
okay. And I'm glad you qualified that because, relationships are very interesting. There's just the having the one-on-one communication connection with another person. That's really the foundation of relationships. But then there's the sexual relationship, there's the romantic relationship, there's so in your case, you're talking about romance, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
we do something, or I do something called spinning the wheel when I look at this chart. If this is you, the seventh house over here, okay, romance is going to be the fifth house away. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is. And boy, have you got some interesting things going on in romance, don't you? Um, what this is telling me, and keep your eyes open and your ears open, folks, because if you are one of these 4 cardinal signs, romantically, this could be going on for you too. For whatever reason, right now, Michelle, there are a lot, I'm going to say power plays. There are old flames, old people coming back into your life. You may very well feel as if you're stuck between 2 relationships, or maybe between a relationship partner and like your kids, or somebody who's a good friend who's been trying to give you some coaching. The thing is, you've got this feeling of being stuck between. And it's important for me, as your counselor in this moment, at any rate, to tell you that you've been in this position before where you have been feeling like you're being pulled apart by other people who have a different agenda for you than your heart says you have. Do you see? So if you don't want to get all kinds of digestive problems from the stress of being stuck in the middle and playing this monkey in the middle game, you really need to make a decision, and you need to tell those other people who are interfering that, frankly, as nice as they are, it's not their business. Make your choice for better or for worse and move ahead with it. And you will find that you feel a heck of a lot better. Now, I'm going to also share something else with you that a good friend of mine told me many, many, many years ago. At the time, I was going through a divorce, and life was very stressful, as you can imagine. And I would get up one morning and I'd throw my cards, and they would show me staying with my husband, going through a rough period, but working it out. The next morning I'd get up and I was really angry with him and knew I wanted to leave, and I'd throw the cards, and then they would show me leaving, going through a stressful period, but getting my life together and being with another person and being very happy again. So what really became clear to me is that sometimes it's not the choice you make. It's not which is better or which is worse. Sometimes it's just making the choice that's important. And so I said to my girlfriend, how do I know? How do I know what's the right choice here? And she said, try this, Sandy. Just make a choice, but don't act on it yet. Just make a choice. Make that choice in your heart. She said, if it's not going to be good for you, believe me, you're going to know really fast, because you're going to feel sick. By the next day, you're going to have a backache. You're going to have a headache. You're going to hate the world. And so then you know it was the wrong choice. And since you haven't acted on it yet, you can change your mind, make the other choice. And if it's the right choice, you're immediately going to feel happier. You're going to feel like the weight of the world has lifted off your shoulders. And you're going to breathe easier, and you will not have those stomach problems. Okay?
Yes,
I
I like that.
I've been following myself for 40 years, and it's worked for me every time. Okay? Did
I
that?
like it. Thank you.
You're
That did.
welcome.
That helped. It made a lot of sense. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. And I thought it would. My guides are interesting. When they pick, it took me a long time to understand this. I'm not a person who shares my personal private life easily. And so when I would be doing psychic readings like this, and in the middle of my reading, my guide is showing me a little drama from my own life, I'm like, I can't share that. I can't say that. And then I began to realize that, as far as my guides are concerned, everything that's in my personal experience is nothing more than an encyclopedia of information they can use to benefit my clients. So,
Right.
yes, so when I give that information, folks, it's not because I'm telling you something about me. It's because I know it's there to benefit you. Or if not you, Michelle, somebody else on the call tonight who's got the same exact issue. Okay?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And thank you so much for asking that question. Sometimes those questions are a little hard to answer, and sometimes they're even harder to ask because things can sometimes get a little more personal than we like. Okay, I'm going to go back and see if Jody has figured out how to unmute herself. I'll give her a try. Um, Here we go. Jody, are you there now? Hello, Jody A. Nope, still not there. But this time you're unmuted. Okay, I'll wait a little while longer and give you another check later on. Meanwhile, the next person I'm going to be calling on is Sandra S. So let me zip down to you, Sandra, and I'm unmuting you on my end, but you are self-muted. There you go.
Hi, Sandy.
Hi,
Can you
Sandra.
hear me?
Yep,
I just wanted to make sure I'm wearing headphones and it just sounds weird on my end. Sorry.
I can hear you loud, clear. Yes.
Perfect. I can hear you too. My name is Sandra. I'm calling you from Alabama, and I am an Aries Sun Cat Moon. And today I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my home. Um, it's just I made it into a place that's really comfortable for me, and I'm just silly, but I'm just grateful for my home and my environment today.
Now, I've got to ask you something. Since you're one of those people in that cardinal cross that we were just talking about when I was
Hmm.
speaking with Michelle, I suspect that you're also feeling stuck in the middle right now, but I don't think it's with a romantic partner. Is this perhaps with your children or people at work?
Just in general, definitely stuck.
Yeah.
And that was actually my question to you. It's not necessarily romantic. I just I've here's the thing is my whole life I've had, just tremendous heartbreak, and I've always been okay, and I've always come out okay, and everything's always been fine. And I've come to a point where I'm just so stagnant and so still, and I'm not moving in any direction. And I've always been go, go, go. And I'm not going. I'm just stuck, and it's starting to get a little scary. So I just wanted to know, am I doing okay? I know I've got a few grandmas up there that look after me. I'm just stuck, confused.
I think it's really kind of cool because now you're giving me and my guys an opportunity to talk about another little bit of wisdom that is more specific to Aries. And remember, not only are you an Aries, but in this chart this evening, the moon and Chiron, the healing planet, is in Aries. So what I'm about to say is going to be healing for you. Isn't that wonderful to know?
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. Folks, when you're born into the sign Aries, you're born to learn about yourself. Now, two different types of people get born into the sign Aries. There are those people who have, in many, many past lives, been the person who always allowed themselves to be led. And so they're born in this life, and, their guides and gods say, you're not going to be led anymore. You have to make your own choices. The other person who is born into the sign Aries is the exact opposite. That's the person who has spent many, many, many lifetimes being the pioneer and charging ahead and being the leader and basically always knowing what they wanted, whether it was right or wrong. Well, you, guess what, are the former, aren't you? Okay? And when you're the first Aries I described, that Aries is reactive. So, Sandra, all of your life, things changed when something happened in your life that forced you into taking action, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you developed yourself and you found your skills and you learned that you could resolve things and deal with emotional patterns, and you really learned about how strong you were, but you didn't learn it because you generated that energy. You learned it because you reacted to it and learned that you really were capable of taking care of yourself. Am I making sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, guess what? Your next challenge is to learn to be the Aries that's self-generating. So you get to sit there. I think I love Esther Hicks calls it sitting on your stump. You can just sit there on your stump as long as you want and watch the world, and nothing's going to happen because you're afraid if I do this, this person might not like it. And if I do this, I might alienate this one. And if I do this, I might jeopardize my income. And if I do this, I might not be happy there. And so you're just sitting on your stump and you're not doing anything. You're waiting for life to throw something at you that you can react to so that you can say, they made me do it. Okay? And it's not going to happen. So, here's a suggestion. Take all of the possibilities that have crossed your mind about things that you might like to do, might like to be involved with, might want to experience, things that you could do in your life right now. Make a long list of them. Then take that list and put it in order. Obviously, get rid of the ones that are pipe dreams that don't make sense. Take the ones that are the easiest or the most attractive and put them up close to the list and start focusing. And it's really interesting because when you start focusing on this thing that you want, this is what you're learning. This is your challenge. When you start focusing on this thing that you want, the universe around you says, oh, she really does want something. And it begins to line itself up so that opportunities for you to step forward in that direction will present themselves. But once again, I've got to tell you, nobody's going to kick you off your stump this time because you're learning to generate your own action. Does that make sense?
I can't tell you how much sense that makes. I'm smiling so much right now.
Yep. And you're going to have fun. You realize for the very first time in your life, you're going to let yourself do what you want? What a shocker. And everybody else can react to you. I love it. And that really is the way it's supposed to be for you right now, at least for the next couple of years. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Enjoy yourself.
That makes so much sense.
Good. Have fun. Have fun. And quit letting yourself be stuck in the middle. You've created a lifelong habit of trying to make everybody else happy. And right now, the only way to make everybody else happy is to sit on the stump. But it's not making you happy.
Yep.
Right? So,
yes, ma'am.
good question. And thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much, Sandy.
You're welcome. Good night. Okay, and my next person is, let me get Sandra muted back up again. My next person is Amy S. Amy, let me get all the way back up here to the top of my list. And yep, you are still got your hand up. And I'm unmuting you on my end, so you should be clear to talk.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, this is me. I'm in San Diego, California. And I'm a Leo rising. And love connecting with this show because I feel like I'm with family and it means a lot to me. I feel lonely a lot. And that's not a Leo normal thing, but I don't know, the last year, 2, 3, it seems social media takes over and it's nice to have people connect to like this. And I love Sandy and Lisa. Lisa's not here tonight. You guys are great, grateful.
Well, thank you. And when you said Leo rising, I'm assuming that you mean Leo is your sun sign.
Right. Uh-huh.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep. And, it's nice that you're grateful for being here because I'm certainly grateful to have you. And I'm also happy that you're grateful for your family. When you said social media is taking over, would you like to expand upon that a little bit?
You broke up. Please say that again.
When you say that social media is taking over, could you expand upon that a little bit?
It seems that everybody is connected to machinery, and human touch and human interaction is so void. And when you say hello to people, they either have something in their ear that they don't hear you, or they just look at you like you're a strange person. Like, why would you say hello to me? I mean, it's just weird to me. I like to be social. I like to have contact, and I miss it so much. It's just a different world.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you. Absolutely. And, you may be able to, I'm going to just mute you so we don't get any feedback here for a moment. You may be able to set rules like in your immediate family, things like when you're at the dinner table, there are no electronics, or you may be able to say at family gatherings or social activities, everybody put their electronics away. I do know families that are doing that, and it really does bring the personal interaction back again. And I think it's kind of interesting because here you are on more social media here with me, okay? But on this social media, you're feeling that the interaction works better. And why do you think so? Why does this social media feel more comfortable for you? I'm curious.
It's like a like-minded group. You have great energy, and you get people together. Even though we aren't physically together, for some reason it feels like a cozy nest egg. Then when I'm out in the world, I'm trying to do social media connection.
Okay.
It
I get
seems like I can, yeah.
I get it. Now let me explain what's going on. Amy, this is going to be interesting to you. Apparently, Leos aren't usually the people who are most empathic, okay? Some are. You're one of the ones who are. Usually when Leos are using their empathy, they're using it in a generative way where you really feel their presence. But you, Amy, are using your empathy in a receptive way. You're feeling the energy of people connecting with you. And one of the reasons you're feeling these sessions on my psychic hour so comforting is because my guides, you see, are actually making that connection through me to every single person who's live online with us this evening. And because you are also empathic, you're feeling like you're part of a family. And all of you here, like Amy, are also going to be feeling much the same thing. If you tune in, if you're sensitive to Sandy communicating, Sandy talking to one person, but including everybody else, this is what my guides are doing. And it does give us that sense of family. And Amy, I want to say I appreciate you for recognizing that. Everybody is here because they feel it, but very few people are consciously aware of what they're feeling. And you get kudos for that. That's very cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what is your specific question this evening?
Okay, I am door in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Just like you said, wait until the Mercury retrograde was over. And as much as I cried during Mercury retrograde, it was a disaster. Oh my God, the day Mercury was great, oh my gosh, everything started to magically unfold. It was miraculous in many ways. But I feel sad because the tenants left the place really in bad shape. And to me, I mean, it was just garbage inside and out. I had a dumpster guy who did a fabulous job cleaning it all up. And I'm so grateful for him. But I feel sad that how could tenants hate me so much? Was I that bad of a landlord? I never met, been on that property. And then the other person who was wanting to buy it, and he was kind of property it, he got really, really weird. And I had to end that relationship and start doing everything better. And I felt bad about this person who was property managing it without really being there. He just wanted to buy it for cash.
Yep.
And I felt, I just want to close on this property and bless it. And I don't want to have to look back. I don't want to have anything else to do with it, but bless it. We have a new buyer, closed by December 2nd. Is there anything else I need to do with any of this?
I think that you're exactly on the right path. I think that you need to chalk this up to being a very important learning experience. Be sure that you spend some time not just closing the door emotionally and walking away, but processing all of the steps along the way, because there's a very good likelihood that at some point in the future, you will again be a own a rental property or own a mortgage property. There's a good probability in the future you're going to find yourself in that position again. And so this was your learning experience so that you know the best way to do it in the future. Okay? There are good rental agents out there. You need to seek one out. You might pay a little more for it, but they're good ones. You may want to make sure that the rental property that you have is one that's near to where you live so that you can drive by and double check on it. These are all things you need to process so that next time you're on top of them and you don't be taken advantage of, okay? You're one of those people who's very giving, very generous, very caring, not just of the property, but of the people you put into the property. And frankly, you were taken advantage of. And it's important for you to recognize that you were taken advantage of, not so that you want to get even or you feel bad or you go into a slump. It's important so that you learn from the experience, okay? Because there's a way of doing this where you can find great joy and you can be very helpful to someone and you really can have the good tenant, but you had to learn the wrong way first. Does that make sense?
Bingo, bingo. And that's why I look at this. It's like, wow, what can I learn from this? How did I let this happen? I know better, but the reality is it's too far from it. And my Leo heart, I got to meet the people. I got to go check out the property, every 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Really be on top of it. And I didn't have that control, and I let other people do it. And I don't feel maybe they did the best job. But I just want to let it go and say, this is what I learned. Thank tenants. Move forward. Have a great life.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate you, but it didn't work out. I'm sorry. I will do the best. And close the door on that chapter and be grateful and able to sell it now. I have a buyer and just wonderful people in my life to assist me cleaning it up and getting
now
it.
You're right. And now you can take this knowledge and use it both to help yourself and to help other people in the future. And I want to thank you very much for sharing that story. I think you're going to do very well. I think that as you go through the sale, you're moving in the right direction. I think you're going to be able to come out of this with the money that you need for yourself and for reinvestment. But again, there's a caution here to make absolutely certain that you don't repeat the pattern of being taken advantage of. For you, there's a pattern here in your life where you like someone, so you trust them to do the job that perhaps somebody else might be better suited for. So don't hire someone because you like them. Hire them because they're really good at their job. You don't have to like them. They need to be good at what they do. Okay?
You are so spot on, and you were so spot on last month telling me just wait till Mercury retrograde's over. But I had to put my little nope, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. You were right. You were right. You were right.
Well,
you're awesome.
It's working out for you. And just remember, and everybody who's listening here, Amy's gift to us this evening, and it is a gift, is to let us all know that if we get taken advantage of because we trusted the wrong person or because we put somebody in charge of something who really wasn't capable of doing it just because we liked the way their face looked or whatever, it's not that other person's fault, it's our fault. We're the ones who who didn't handle it properly. And that doesn't mean we should sit in the doldrums and be upset with ourselves forever. It means we should learn from that lesson and move forward, and next time we come out on top because we now understand how it needs to happen. Okay? So this has been a great opportunity for growth for you. And thank you so much for sharing.
One thing I just want to say, you're right about this. I just want to say, really grateful to learn this lesson now. And I really have a bad bone with that property cash buyer or the tenants. I'm like, wow, they really taught me something valuable. And I wish them the best in life. I really do. And I'm grateful I feel that way. I don't want to get even. There's none of that. So thank you.
And thank you so much for sharing. And my next person on my list is Peggy B. So Peggy, I hope you're still listening because I'm about to unmute you. Let's see if I can find you. And there we are. Peggy, you're unmuted. Hello. I can, you're unmuted on both ends. I can hear the keyboard, but I can't hear your voice. Okay. Peggy, I'm going to give you a few minutes to get your mic situation straightened out while I move on to the next person, and I'll come back to you. Okay, the next person on my list is Sheila, and that's Sheila C. Okay, Sheila, I'm unmuting you now, but you're self-muted. Can you unmute yourself?
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Sandy. My name is Sheila, and I live in Spring, Texas. I'm most grateful for the deep, echoing laughter with my children. It's a very special place. I'm an Aries, and my question is, I walk an hour every day with my dogs, and I'm coming across feathers. And I often meditate and think and pray, and when I look down, I'll have a specific thought, and there's a feather. And am I interpreting what I think these feathers mean, which is a confirmation of my thoughts? Am I interpreting that correctly?
My guides are saying sometimes, but not always.
Okay.
I think that there's a person on the other side who's trying to get a message through to you with those feathers. But it's not just one person, it's two different people. So I think sometimes your interpretation is accurate, but sometimes you're missing it because you're seeing it from one point of view and you're not including that other one. Does that make sense to you?
It absolutely makes sense, because sometimes it rings true to me when I think, oh, that was a good thought. I need to do what I just thought.
Right.
And sometimes it doesn't ring true.
Yep. Well, I think when you're interpreting it relative to your higher self, which is interpreting them as symbols, is that interpretation accurate? And I get a yes. But there are times when those feathers are actually coming from one of two people. Both are male. One is young, and one is in your age group or perhaps a father figure. Okay? And sometimes you're thinking a thought, and they're the ones giving the answer. And so it does not make sense to you because it's not coming from your higher consciousness. Okay? And I'm seeing a color blue. So I'm going to, and I don't even know if you're getting blue, but I would say that any feather that's got a blue shading or a dark blue shading is coming from that younger male. Okay? And,
Yes.
Right. And the older male, he's got a whole plethora of different colors. They usually end up coming out as different shades of gray, but that will also mix with the higher self. So it's difficult to tell. When the message is strictly from your higher self, it's going to be a white feather, but you can always see those white feathers. You see? So that's why the reason it's getting confusing is those messages are coming from three different places.
So fair enough then.
and you know, can you hone that? Yes, you can. Okay.
Okay.
Here's my suggestion. Don't just look externally at that feather. Also look internally. Okay. So if I see that feather on the ground and I pick it up, and I just happen to be thinking about, whether or not I should take that trip that I'm thinking about, and all of a sudden I see this feather, when I pick that feather up, if it's obviously very clear that this is the higher self feather, it's a nice white feather or something like that, yeah, we can go with that. But if it's something which is unclear, instead of looking at the feather, turn your attention inwards and say,
Okay.
who is it? Which of these three people, myself or the younger man or the older man, which one of these is talking to me right now? And immediately you will get the answer.
Okay.
Pretty amazing when you pay attention to that. I think of it as your internal, like a pointer or a compass. It's your internal compass. And when you
Yeah.
ask those questions, your feeling nature immediately snaps in, and you get a solid yes or no or and if it's that, well, then it's probably none of the three, and that feather is just a feather.
It could be just a feather. Yeah.
Exactly. Don't you love it? But I
Only the really big letters.
Yeah, I really love the fact that you're asking this question, though, because yes, the universe does talk to us. Whatever we put our attention on when we're thinking of something is giving us feedback, but our attention isn't always clear. What's in our mind isn't always clear. So the answers aren't always clear. And eventually, in time, you're going to realize that both of these people, the younger guy and the older guy, they're guides, okay? Just like your
Okay.
higher self is acting as a guide. But depending on the nature of the question, sometimes it'll be the younger man, sometimes it'll be the older man who gives the answer. And eventually you'll just automatically know which one is answering. It'll come to you. If you, again, turn your attention inward and look for your internal compass, and it will gradually all fall into place. What fun.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Good question. I like that. And it tells me that you're doing a whole lot of personal growing right now, too, which is very special. Congrats.
Very big right now. Yeah, big, big.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
And the next person I have on my list is Chantel. And let's see if I can find you. You're way up the top. Okay. I have my cursor on you and then it moved. There we go. Chantel, I'm unmuting you, but you are self-muted. Hello, Chantel, are you there? Self-muted. Oh, there you are.
There I am. Hi.
Hi.
So my name is Chantel. I'm from California, and I am most grateful for my family. And I'm a Taurus. And I was really unexpected. I wasn't expecting to be on this webinar. I think I was directed by me just being on your website, and as soon as I looked at it, I was like, oh, the site is here. And it was like 10 minutes or before the webinar started, and it was like, oh, go ahead and go for it. So I'm thinking, the only thing I can think of, my question would be is, what is my purpose? Because I have, yeah.
Well, first off, okay, let me give you a little bit of description of what's happening for you astrologically. And this is going to talk about not only Chantel, but anyone who's a Taurus, a Scorpio, I'll get it straight, a Leo, or an Aquarian. So it affects that quadruplicity in the astrology. Okay. Chantel, there's a whole lot going on for you right now with your finances and a lot of concern about what you should be doing with your life in terms of not just a life work, but how you should be earning your living, how you should be handling your talents, discovering your talents and your abilities. There's all these questions happening. You see, life is in a little bit of turmoil around you. What you were doing a year and a half, 2 years ago has totally shifted. And that shifting has made you feel as if you're on shaky ground. So sometimes things are feeling really beautiful, like there are all these opportunities around you. And then other times you're starting to move on an opportunity and it feels like the door closes. And that leaves you with, well, what am I supposed to be doing? And the biggest thing right now, and here gets back into talking about your life purpose, you're supposed to be following just what I said on our previous caller, that inner voice, getting in touch with that inner voice, that inner compass, and following it. Because I'm going to point this out to you so you can see this. This planet right here that I'm putting my cursor around is the planet Uranus. That's the symbol for Uranus. About a year and a half ago, Uranus went into your sun sign. As a matter of fact, it spent a little bit of time going back and forth between the previous sign Aries, where it had spent 7 years, and Taurus. And it's been going back and forth across that cusp. But right now, it is solidly in Taurus, and it's going to be there for another 6 years. Now, you can ask any of your friends who are on that cardinal axis, Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn. Uranus transits are really not always fun. They're kind of like going to the circus and getting on the roller coaster. If you're there to have fun, you can have the time of your life because it's crazy. It's up, it's down, it spins around. There are great opportunities. There are sudden losses, total shifts. Each opportunity that comes along lasts about 2 years, then fizzles out, but it could be great while it's there. Doesn't this sound fun? It's literally like a circus. Now, because you're a Taurus, you don't really like change. Okay, Taurians don't like change. They like things to be the same. They like things to be stable. Mind you, you love getting new people and new things into your life, but you don't want to let go of the old stuff. You want to just add to it. Okay, Taurians can really build these little empires, little wonderful home spaces, warm and loving. Here's the problem. Uranus says in order to grow right now, you have to change. And in order to change, you have to be willing to let go of the past. And so you're beginning to do that letting go. And for you, it's kind of like prying your fingers off what you used to want. So there's a lot of letting go happening here, but it's not necessarily fun and happy letting go. But in the process, there are all these new wonderful experiences that you can reach out and grab. But your Taurian stability says, that really concerns me because none of this stuff really feels really solid and secure. And since you're a Taurus, you really want to have that solid security in everything that you do. Even if you're taking a chance, you want to know that your feet are on solid ground. And Uranus says, come on and fly with me. So this is a little bit difficult for you to accommodate in your life, and you're going to have that transit going up to 6 years. What's happening right now is every time you point yourself in a specific direction that feels really good, something comes along that's a monkey wrench that changes the timing, or changes the color, or changes the circumstances, or brings people into the circumstances that you really didn't want to be there. So nothing's happening quite the way you want it to happen. So here's the solution. Ready? Flexibility. Are you getting it yet? No. I picked this card. It's an inverted Four of Cups. It says, for the next 6 years, your greatest opportunities and your greatest successes are going to come from unexpected places, from unplanned places where you were able to reach for an opportunity and step forward into it spontaneously. Now, the good part of this is that opportunities are going to keep coming for the next 6 years, and some of them are going to be great. The bad part of it is that you're going to have to trust that inner compass to figure out which ones are solid and which ones aren't. Because you can get 5 good things coming your way at the same time and then go through a desert where there's nothing. Isn't it frustrating? And then just when you're ready to give up, 3 more come all at the same time, and you have to make choices. And then, for example, when I had this transit, there I was trying to write a book, and I would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to write the darn book because it was the only time I could find quiet in my condominium. And don't you know, that would be the time when the guy upstairs was flushing the toilet all night long because he had the flu. Okay, that's a Uranus transit. Have fun with it. It's a great transit, but you've got to be flexible. Okay,
Okay.
so now overall, what is your life purpose? I think that's what you really meant. And it's all about, oh, you're not going to like this. There's a good likelihood that you are going to be outliving and outlasting everybody you know. So you're going to be needing to find that internal strength, and you're going to need to put your love and your affection and your joy into a cause, a purpose, something which is greater than yourself. Because everyone and everything around you will eventually move their own direction, and you know, I can't, it's not bad to outlive everybody, is it? You're alive, you see? But it doesn't always feel good to be in that place. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Get a purpose in here. Follow your inner heart. And you know what it is, but you've been afraid to follow it. You do know what it is. Yeah. Get out of your own way and do it. Okay?
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I'm glad you stopped by this evening.
Me
Okay.
too.
And my next caller is going to be Heather K. Let me see if I can get hold of Heather. I know I have a few other people I haven't gotten to, but there's always next month's psychic hour. Where are you, Heather? I keep passing you. Okay. Heather, you're on the phone. I just unmuted you. And
Hello.
hello, how are you tonight?
Good. How are you, Sandy?
I'm good.
So I live in Georgia. I'm a Capricorn, and tonight I am most grateful for my family.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. And I've got to say, I say that tongue in cheek, but not. My family is just about all past. My husband's still alive, but just about everybody else is gone. And I've got to tell you, I'm still very, very grateful for them because they talk to me all the time. I probably have a closer relationship with them now than when they were alive. Just sharing that. And I don't know why I need to share that with you right now, but Heather, you need to hear that. Okay?
Okay.
So, as a Capricorn, you heard what I said earlier about Aries and about Libra. The only thing I want to add with Capricorn is that right now, again, there are lots of changes going on around you, and you are feeling yourself kind of pulled in a lot of different directions, stuck in the middle, sometimes sitting on your stump and feeling paralyzed, other times feeling like you're being reactive, but you don't know which direction to go. And my guides are showing that this is particularly important, that your Capricorn planets in today's horary chart are in the house of friendship. And so your future, your career, and what you're doing with your life really depends upon the friendships, the groups, the connections that you're forming with the other people around you. And that's not just family. That's also people who are your associates in business, people that are your friends in your personal life. Very, very important. All these connections around you, very important. Okay? Do you have a specific question?
I do. Will my husband and I have another child?
How old is your next oldest from that? Your last child?
She is almost 17 months.
Okay. And do you have a boy?
No, I have two girls.
Okay. Because I'm thinking that the reason you're thinking about having another child is because you want to have that boy. That's why I was asking about the boy. And here's the problem. I see you wanting that boy, but I don't see him ready to come in yet. And it has something to do with it's interesting. it's like the family is in some way unsettled, but it doesn't feel like it's your family. It feels like it's the greater family around you that's unsettled. And he's apparently waiting for something in the greater family to get resolved. And whatever it is, it has to do with a lot of politics, family politics, financial issues, making decisions about whether you're going to stay in place or move someplace else. When all that stuff is resolved, then he will come in. But what's interesting is that, and I'm not saying you can't get pregnant right now, but the likelihood of you getting pregnant with somebody else is going to be slight because the kid wants you. He just doesn't want to come yet. Okay.
Okay.
So it could be a little wait, and if it is a wait, I'm hoping I'm wrong. Nobody's 100% right. Not me, not anybody. Okay. But if I'm interpreting what my guides, because they're always right, are giving me correctly, it could be a little wait before you have that next pregnancy.
Okay.
And get this, by the time the kid is ready to come in, you may not want to have a baby anymore. And that's when you'll get pregnant. And if you do get pregnant before then, it won't be that kid because he's waiting and he's wanting you to wait until all those other issues. And I think you know the issues I'm talking about. Oh. Yeah, he's waiting for those issues to be resolved.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, what fun. What fun. Folks, I want to say thank you, and thank you too very much, Heather. That was nice for you to share that moment with me. It's always fun to end up on kind of a unusual and yet interesting vein. Oh, by the way, I should also say, Heather, you don't have to let a kid boss you around when he's on the other side. You can say, get out of here. I want somebody else to come in right now. You can come sometime later.
Oh, okay.
My motto is, if you're not going to let them take over your life when they're alive, don't let them start when they're on the other side, you know? Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing those few moments with us. That was interesting, different.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And folks, I want to remind you, so you can make a note on your calendar, the next psychic hour is September 22nd. Actually, I'm going to rephrase that. I think September 22nd is when the retreat is, so it may end up being the week after that. Lisa will change that on the website. I think that would make it September 29th. At any rate, it's going to be the week after the retreat, so it will be the whatever the Sunday night is after the 22nd. That'll be rescheduled. So, folks, it has always been a pleasure. It was a pleasure to speak with you all tonight. Remember, if you didn't get a reading this evening and you have a simple question for me, feel free to email it to me or Lisa at lisasainc@aol.com anytime before 9 p.m. tomorrow night. And give me a week or so to get back to you, and I certainly will. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next month. Good night.